Welcome to the fourth lesson in the Avanti Introduction Course. In this lesson, we'll begin by looking at entering a particular type of transaction, journal invoices. There are two types of invoices you can enter in Avanti: journal invoices and document invoices. Document invoices are used to enter transactions that involve producing a document and can contain the full details of the products and services, prices, delivery addresses, etc. We'll cover document invoices in an upcoming lesson. Journal invoices are used to enter the core details of an invoice transaction to record them in your accounts, in cases where you don't need to record products or produce an invoice document. To record a journal invoice, open the customer section. This time we need to use the transactions button. This gives us a list of the different types of customer transactions that you can record. Select the journal invoice/credit option. In the customer journal entry window, you select the customer that you want. As we open the window from the customer section, it automatically uses a selected customer. If the customer shown isn't the ABC Widgets customer we added in lesson 2, you can use the magnifying glass in the customer ref box to select it, as we've shown previously. As with all transactions in Avanti, you can enter a brief reference for the transaction for lookup purposes, and a longer details entry for a description of the transaction. Enter 102SH into the reference box, and sale of products into the details box. On the right, you can select if the journal transaction is an invoice or a credit note. If the invoice you are entering is to be paid immediately, you can tick the Pay Now box and select the bank account that the payment is received into. The bottom part of the window is used to enter the amounts for the transaction and the financial accounts that they are to be assigned to. Don't worry too much about the accounts for now. Just think of them as categories that you can assign your sales into, so that you can see your total income and profit when you look at your month-end or year-end financial reports. Click into the account ref column in the grid below the toolbar in the middle of the window. This expects the reference for the account you want to record an amount into. Enter 1 and you'll notice a drop down of accounts which match the reference as you enter it. This is a very common way to select accounts throughout Avanti, and it will become very familiar. Click the first account in the list, which has the reference of 1000 and the name of parts sales. Press enter and the account name appears, and you move to the comments column. This will contain the same information you entered into the details box. We'll leave it as it is and press enter or tab. In the net column, enter 100, and the VAT and total columns are displayed for you. If you wanted to enter a value of 100 inclusive of VAT, you would enter 100 into the net column and click the reverse VAT button. Let's say that there is a delivery charge on this invoice. Rather than record it into the sales account that we used before, we want to record the delivery charge into a specific account for carriage. To do this, click the Add New Line button in the toolbar. This adds another line into the grid. Click into the Account Ref column in the second row and enter 45. This will again drop down a list of matching accounts. Look for account reference 4501 with the name of postage and carriage. Click to select it, press enter to move to the comments column. This time enter delivery charge into this column. Press enter and enter 10 into the net column. Again, the VAT and totals are calculated for the line. If you wanted to add another line to the transaction, you could now simply press the down arrow button on your keyboard instead. At the bottom you'll see the totals of the full transaction. We're happy with this transaction now, so we'll click Save and Close in the toolbar at the top. Let's take a look at the new transaction we've added by looking at the customer's history. Make sure ABC Widgets is selected in the list and click the History button. Here's our new transaction listed. What happens, however, if we notice something is wrong with the transaction? Let's say we entered it on the wrong date, or put in the wrong values or accounts. Fortunately, Avanti is very forgiving about such things, and lets us change virtually any information about a transaction. Let's take a look at how to do this. Right-click on the new transaction, and on the pop-up menu, there are a couple of options we're interested in. The Undo Transaction option is really useful if you simply want to get rid of a transaction completely, whether it was entered by mistake or you simply want to enter it again from scratch. The option we're really interested in is the Amend Transaction option. However, let's take a look at a different way of doing this. Click back into the list, ensuring that the new transaction is selected. This time click the Options button in the toolbar. The Options menu offers similar facilities to the right-click menu. It's entirely your preference as to which one you would prefer. Select Amend Transaction from the Options menu. The Customer Journal Entry window appears with the full details of our transaction loaded with it. We can change any aspect of the transaction we want here to correct any mistakes. For this example, we'll say that the date was entered incorrectly. Click the drop-down arrow next to the date and select a different date from the calendar. Once selected, press Enter and click the Save and Close button. Back in the History report, notice that the list is refreshed to reflect the correction that we made. As you can see, it's very simple to do. The software also gives you a way to check if a transaction has been changed at some point. To do this, click the magnifying glass on the left of the transaction. In the Transaction Details window, click the Activity tab. Here you can see the date it was originally entered and who entered it. If it's been changed at any point, as in this case, you can also see the date it was last changed and who made the change. And that concludes lesson 4. In the next lesson, we'll cover how to create a bank account, enter its opening balance, and record an expense transaction. We'll also look at how you transfer money between accounts and how you can reconcile your bank accounts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in lesson 5.